A former head of the investigating Directorate against corruption, IDAC, advocate Andrea Johnson, is expected to return to the Madlanga Commission to conclude her testimony today. Let's go live now to SABC News reporter Canny Maphanga for more on this story. Canny, good morning. So yesterday, essentially, the Commission circling back to where it all started with the disbandment of the PKTT, but focusing on IDAC's interest in the PKTT and why they would be investigating matters pertaining to the PKTT. But what was also interesting was the fact that on the very day when that plea deal with Vusumuzi Cat Matlala was basically nullified, when it fell apart, the PKTT members or a team allegedly went to visit Sergeant Nkosi in prison, and he complained about that, among other things, violating his rights.
Absolutely, Sakina. Good morning to you and to the viewers at home. Once again, it's becoming more plausible, these suspicions surrounding IDAC and its conduct over the past few months in relation to these three generals, because it keeps pointing to Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, and of course General Canny Maphanga, who we saw two of them at the very least make it into that court dock. It seems that that testimony that relates to Johnson claiming that she did not know of IDAC investigating the PKTT was taken even further, because the decision that she signs off, or rather authorizes that subpoena to the National Commissioner seeking information about the PKTT, that happens in April of 2025. So that's after the purported disbandment or the disbandment of the Political Killings Task Team. The Commission will still decide what the conclusion is on that particular evidence, but it happens after, and it gives credence to the suspicions that this was really a target towards these three generals, because we do know at the very least that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi was involved with the PKTT, but even worse, we see that Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo was actually the commander at the time. So it seems that everything was geared towards dealing with that particular group of individuals. And when you look at the events leading up to the July media briefing, and then of course what continues to take place, even though while we're at the Madlanga Commission, we're now hearing evidence that Sunil Belichin allegedly went and visited Sergeant Nkosi in prison and sought information that would basically implicate General Canny Maphanga and Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo in that SABC Medicare contract. And that raises questions about the brazen manner in which this particular unit was allegedly doing everything but its mandate, which is to fight high-level corruption, going to the extent of even during the Madlanga Commission, where these issues are being ventilated in the public space, you see that around the time that the plea deal fell away with alleged cartel member Vusumuzi Cat Matlala, you're seeing those IDAC investigators turning to Sergeant Nkosi to effectively implicate those high-ranking generals. Quite concerning evidence for the Commission, because this unit that is IDAC is quite powerful in the sense that they have both the powers to investigate and prosecute, but all you're seeing is a persistent pattern of the officials and the IDAC unit as a whole. You're seeing a pattern of them allegedly abusing their powers, and the interest now is about who is behind this particular conduct that is being exposed before the probe. Is it allegedly a hidden hand? Is it a situation of alleged political interference? Because we do know what the PKTT was doing at the time when there was this desperate need to have it disbanded or removed as a task team. And what exactly the Commission must make of this evidence of IDAC, where you're seeing a unit that goes far beyond its mandate and is clearly interested in particular issues, or rather particular factional battles within the South African police services. And the question is why. This has been quite significant evidence to see so far from advocate Andrea Johnson, because it points to IDAC being the alleged missing link in understanding the events that lead up to that infamous July briefing, rather by Lieutenant Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, where he articulates the kind of alleged extent of infiltration that exists in the criminal justice system and how there were different key role players that were actively trying to suppress the work of the PKTT once it pounced on those alleged cartel members. Certainly from this latest evidence, Sakina, the Commission is going to have to hear from Senzo Mchunu again, going to have to hear from the investigators of IDAC to get an understanding as to why things were done and the manner in which they were done, which is seemingly pointing to unlawful behavior, allegedly, in order to serve those particular interests. All that and more at 9:30 a.m.
Well, thanks so much, Canny, and of course, looking forward to more analysis on this particular matter at 7:40.